Hi, on today's video we're gonna answer some of the most common questions that you guys are asking us, either here on the channel, on the Facebook page, by email. Actually, there are a couple of people that have contacted me on my SMS, on my private number. I wonder how they got that number. Anyway, today we're gonna answer some questions about Fred, the dog that we left last week at the dog hotel while waiting to be transferred, to be sent to his family in the UK. And there's also gonna be some great news about Merlin. Remember him? We operated him a couple of weeks ago. He went home. We're gonna tell you something amazing about him. So happy. So, and by the way, if you like this channel, let me remind you, please smash the like button. We need to defeat the YouTube algorithm. We need to make this channel grow. Yeah, all right. So, questions. Let's begin. So, how is Merlin? Many of you will remember him. Merlin is a dog that we rescued quite a few years ago. He was in a terrible condition. His skin was completely ravaged by disease, by leishmaniasis. He also had problems internally. Anyway, it took us quite a few months to treat him, rehabilitated him. Now, Merlin is a dog, but please don't forget that he had serious trauma. He was never going to be a happy-go-lucky dog like your lab or your golden. No, he's a different dog. Anyway, so after the hospital, he went to a family. He was there just for one day because he escaped. He made a hole under the fence. He managed to get out. Luckily, we managed to rescue him again. And then he was adopted by Begonia, one of our friends. Really, really nice family. And he has been with that family for quite a few years and very, very, very happily. Until 2 weeks ago. The family contacted us. Merlin was having serious trouble. He had apparently developed a mass on his spleen, and the family was in no condition to operate him. Look, I'm not gonna even try to justify what we've done because this is who we are. If any of our dogs, doesn't matter if he's been adopted a long time ago, if any of our dogs needs help, if the family cannot help him, we can. This is why we are a whole community, so that all the risk and all the responsibility doesn't lie on just one family that may be having a bad time. I know many people won't understand this, but I know many people will. And those that do are the ones that support us. Anyway, so we went and we operated Merlin. It was a risky surgery because he had problems with the heart, he had arrhythmia, and we had to be really careful during the anesthesia. But the operation went well. Juan did a great job. After he left the hospital, he went to our other hospital to recover for just a day to make sure that everything was fine, and then he went home. I told you, we were gonna wait for the results of the lab and we were gonna see. I mean, in theory, there was no metastasis. In theory, the mass was cancer, but we didn't know what kind of cancer was gonna be. So we waited for the lab results. And then a few days later, the results came. The mass was not cancer. I thought, no, there's a mistake here. This thing, I know the lab tells us that it's not cancer, but there is something else. But let's gonna have a second opinion. So again, we did another test on the same mass, and the results came. For the second time, confirmed Merlin didn't have cancer. What he had was a mass of blood clot origin. It was like a clot that had grown, that had created some form of mass and tissue there, and that was affecting the functioning of the organs. But it was not cancer, not at all. So we took the mass, we took the spleen out. Merlin is completely healed. He will die one day of old, hopefully, if there is no accidents, but he will not die of cancer. So, Merlin is back home. Now, so many people say, oh, but Merlin doesn't look like he likes his home. Maybe the family is not good. Maybe the family are abusers. No. This is a beautiful family. I mean, I told you, this is a dog that has severe trauma, whose character just doesn't allow him to be a happy-go-lucky dog. Right? So, please, sometimes when people see the videos, and they interpret things from their own perspective, I mean, those comments can be really offensive. No, this is an amazing family, and Merlin is really happy there. I want to thank those of you that helped him. Really, thank you very much. Merlin doesn't have cancer. Now, second question. What happened to Mara and her animals? Many of you will remember the story. It was just before Christmas, beginning of December. We traveled down to Madrid. Somebody wrote us a letter. She was asking for help for her 2 dogs and her 2 cats. She was desperate. She told me that please take my 2 cats with you. Please, I'm about to leave that home. I'm being kicked out of this house. I'm gonna have to live on the streets with my 2 dogs. When I read the letter, I just couldn't believe it. I was so touched, and I thought, no, we have to do something. We cannot let these animals go live on the streets. What's gonna happen to that lady? But we didn't really know anything about her. So I spoke to her briefly, and we went down to her home to check out the situation. When we arrived there, we found a really lovely, sweet lady whose life had been a succession of tragedies that I'm not gonna get into in this video. But believe me, that girl went through a lot of misfortune in her life, and at the end of that terrible road, she ended up in a home with her 4 elderly animals. I mean, just think about it. Every animal there, the youngest is 15 years old. So she had dedicated her life to these 4 animals, but she had reached the end of the road. The interview was published here. It was so moving. I was so sad. And then we decided that there on the spot that we were not gonna take just her 2 cats or her cats and the dog and let her go and live on the streets and die in the cold winter, that we were gonna bring her with us, offer her a job, change her life completely. And that's what we did. We went pick it up, we took out her few possessions, and we brought her here with us. Initially, we put her in a small apart hotel, like a nice room. Actually, had 2 rooms with a nice bathroom. It was nice, but we needed a place for her and her animals to be living together. And then we took her a really nice apartment, and we invited her to live there with her animals and to work with us at the White House or the Pink House whenever she was needed. Now, she was really happy, and we did a transformation. We cut her hair that looked terrible, and wow, her smile, that was so beautiful. That was in December. Since then, she's been working on some issues that she needed to fix in order to be in a stronger position to come to work with us and be more productive. I mean, look, after you have spent a lifetime of tragedy, after so many bad things happen to you, there are some injuries that you have to repair. And that's what she's been doing during this time. She's been resting, she's been learning to trust the people that she is with now, us, and she's in touch with us on a daily basis through our communication network that we run the houses, and we see her all the time because some of her animals had health issues that we're checking closely, but we have given her time to settle, regain composure, regain trust in human beings, and get ready to work. So we don't know when she's gonna join us at the White House. But since she arrived, trust me, she's been very well taken care of. We're waiting for her to begin working, and I promise you, the day it happens, there's gonna be a big video announcing that she's back to work. For now, Mara is well. We're taking good care of her, and you will see her very soon. And that's the question, how is Fred? Why did we abandon Fred? Now, guys, please, we did not abandon Fred. Whomever left this kind of comments is a ridiculous person or an idiot, or he has no clue what he's talking about. I mean, this is a channel. I've been rescuing animals for nearly 2 decades, over 15 years. This is my life. I've loved animals all my life, and I've always had a penchant for rescuing them, from taking them out of trouble. Let me remind you, Fred was born at the hospital. We raised him ourselves, like one of our own dogs, him and his sisters. We took care of him all his life. He was with us for 5 years, but he was never our animal. He was never our dog. It was our responsibility, and it was our responsibility to find him a home. We are called Let's Adopt No, let's keep forever. We cannot keep all the animals that we rescue. There's always someone that says, oh, but you should keep him because he believes he's your dog. Well, he believes he's my dog, but I know better. And I know my responsibility is to find him a good home for life so that I can continue rescuing, so that I can continue keeping this organization functioning instead of overloading ourselves. I mean, instead of having 2 homes, imagine that we kept all our animals. We will have 20, 30 homes like the ones that we have. No, this is not possible. Our animals have to be adopted. And there's always someone that says, but why didn't you find him a home locally? I don't know, I couldn't. We tried for years, we made videos, we made appeals. We couldn't find a home locally. The local person never wrote to us. You see? So sometimes some dogs are more appealing to other places, to other countries. We don't know. I mean, but the thing is that we don't send animals to countries, we send animals to families. We received a beautiful letter by this guy, by this gentleman called Darren. Darren is a lovely guy, has animals all his life. That he was a soldier for many years, traveled around the world on missions. He rescued animals whenever he went. I mean, really, he is a lovely, lovely guy. If he lives in the UK, it doesn't matter. If he lives in the States, in France, it doesn't matter. If he was living in Spain, it would matter the same. I mean, what matters is that he was the right person for that dog. And so we took him. We took Fred to that dog hotel where his paperwork is being processed. Now, yeah, but why is that paperwork taking so long? I don't know. Bureaucracy. Look, this is Europe. Bureaucracy, so many countries. And the dog is traveling to a country that doesn't belong to the EU anymore. So now there are complicated paperwork and taxes and fees and all kinds of permits to fill. I mean, really, it's so complicated. This has been the most difficult case vis-a-vis paperwork that we have ever done. So it was really hard enough for us to leave him there, so that for somebody to say, but you abandoned the dog. I mean, but how can you be so ridiculous? Honestly, look, after all these years, criticism doesn't hurt us so much. This used to get a lot to me when we began, because I had a small group, and to see people jumping on top of me, criticizing for what I did, it was really painful. Now, after all these years, I've grown a thick skin and it doesn't hurt me anymore. Still, when people put our actions in doubt, when people criticize some decisions that have been taken with the good of the animal in mind only, it's really sad. It's really sad. But I also know that the vast majority of the people that viewed that video agreed with what we did. It was perfectly explained, and Fred is doing great. We're receiving videos of him, and he's loved, he's well taken care of, he eats normally, he's okay, and in a few days he's gonna travel home, to his home in the UK. And that takes us to the other question. How do you know the animals you adopt in other countries are okay? How do you check? How can you make sure? And how is Gino, the greyhound that you sent over there over a year ago? How is he doing? How do you know Gino is alive? Look, the question of this is very simple. We have a constant relationship with the families that adopt our animals. We're not in daily touch. In some cases, these people become our close friends. In those cases, they send us pictures all the time and everything, but we like to respect the privacy of the adopters. Still, we have a really good relationship with them, so we always know if there's any problem. We always know if there are problems as they age. Sometimes these dogs require help from our vets over here, second opinions on what the local vets have told them. I mean, look, this is a community that works from many angles, and we try to keep in touch with all the families that we have adopted. So many of you are asking now about Gino, the dog that went to West Virginia 1.5 years ago, nearly 2 years. How is he doing? So many people ask about him. Well, Gino is fine. Gino was rescued in Spain with terrible injuries at his hip, his legs. It took us many surgeries. It was really, really complex from a medical point of view, but he recovered great. Now, this is a special animal. This is an incredible dog, super friendly. He was not scared of anything. He was really lovely. So we went with Gino and we took him to a wonderful home in West Virginia. You may say, oh, but you're in Spain, West Virginia. Isn't that a bit too far away? Well, not really. It was just we jumped on a plane and we got him there. And I tell you, that was an amazing, amazing choice. It was a match made in heaven. Greg, Gino's owner, is the most incredible guy. Really, seriously. He has become a really close friend. We spend many nights talking late into the night. We send each other messages. We tell each other about politics. He's on one side of politics, I'm on the other side. We like friendly banter. We just take the piece out of each other, and we send each other pictures of our animals, our families. And I tell you, Gino is doing amazing. He's the luckiest guy in the world because he has the best person in the world for him. Gino lives in an amazing home. He's surrounded by animals, by wonderful, loving people. I mean, really, seriously, we couldn't have found a better home for Gino. I'm so happy we did this. And this is just one of the examples. Last weekend, one of our oldest rescues, also adopted in Germany many years ago, passed. Her name was Lady Rose. Many of you won't even remember her because at the time our channel was so small. Lady Rose arrived there. She was already old, but she lived many, many more years happily. And during this time we saw her, growing, getting older and having problems. But I tell you, her family was amazing. And like them, many, many, many others. This is a shout out to all our adopters that live in the US, all over Europe, in Spain. We love you for the dedication and the love you're giving to our animals, and we will never forget you, and we will always be here for you. So that was everything for today. Some updates, a bit of rant. Please criticize us all you want, but understand that we have strong principles and we know why we do things. Okay? Guys, thanks a lot for being here. Please smash the like button, and don't forget that all these stories I've just told you, all these updates are only possible because you, our friends, our donors are here to support us. So please donate, help us continue saving lives. Donate or join me on my support group on Patreon. Thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow.